I'm WG and let's talk about loot certification cards. So, now that the weekly reset has happened and every one of you should have 4 out of 4 again, what should you do with those and why should you save those until you reach level 40? So, let's talk about it. Once you reach level 40, you not only unlock legendary gear as a drop from the simulation, but you also unlock the zero system. Now, the zero system is like the chaos manifestations in that you have your planets, you have your difficulty you can go to, and you can go to a save data. Important to note here, look at this, alright? Keep this in mind. This says high, right? 6 difficulty, level 60, save data value high, right? Keep that in mind. It is like this, but it is, you could say, a step beyond. And also you could say even more interesting. So this zero system right here is something you can grind. It does not cost you a single bit of stamina or ether or whatever you want to call it, and you can collect these fragments. You get these fragments by beating special mobs in these maps, and then you get rewards for doing so, anywhere from fashion points to character XP to partner XP and gems. But what the crux of the matter is that you can get these planets. So the way this works is, for example, we could take a look at this, let's say level 49 planet here, and we can go onto this reworld. What you can do is you spend 45,000 currency to merge a planet, and then you can pick between 3 different planets your kind of selection. These planets also have rarities from green to blue to gold, and gold is, especially on difficulty 5, which is, there are increasing difficulties, is what you should be looking for, because what this does is, even though it is recommended for level 41 characters, look at what happens to the save data value. Very high. It is even higher than the highest difficulty in the chaos system, as well as 19 levels lower in the level recommendation. So this zero system is where you spend most of your time if you properly want to build decks. Like, for example, I was able to save a deck containing absolutely everything. So let me show you what that deck, for example, contained. Right here, we were able to save 12 cards, 2 legendary pieces, 1 blue piece, 1 monster card with an epiphany, a duplication of our purple card, a duplication of a epiphany of our standard card, a legendary normal card, and all these other cards here as well. So that is something where you're like, oh, I played this run, I played it so perfectly, but I lost something. Pretty much on like these legendary planets, it's not gonna happen. But like, for example, you can see we would be getting less credits, losing, getting 1% max health damage at the start of every turn, and also enemies would have more health. So that's kind of how this works. And now, where does this whole loot certification thing come in after me yapping for so long? That is, if you beat a outerior, right? You know that starting from level 30, these planets are made by the outerior and the interior. You have the first boss and then you have the second boss. After you beat a boss, you're offered to take a gear drop. The crucial part about these gear drops is you can see what you get. You can see what you get. So let's briefly talk about gear and what isn't valuable, and why you should save the save data. And that is because there's 3 different pieces, alright? These pieces are easy to get because they have flat main stats. They have fixed main stats. The main stat is always going to be the same. So the left side gear, shock, suppression, and denial are always easy to get. This is where your save data, your loot comes into. This is what you should use it for. Imagination, desire, and ideal. Especially desire. These all have multiple main stats that you can get, so let's check them out right here in the crafting system, which is something I'll cover in a later video. But you have, for example, 4 different options to be gained here. On the goblet, Genshin equivalent, you have exactly 7 options. And then here on the bottommost, you also have 4 options. So what you should be looking out for is you find your main character, you identify which of these 12 sets this character is looking for, either the 4-piece, which you should prioritize first getting there, or the 2-piece sets, which are these ones here at the bottom. And then you look out for that units either either of these, right? Like the right side gear pieces, the we get more familiar with the naming scheme, but imagination, desire, and ideal. These should let I guess alarm clocks run. So for example, I used exactly 2 loot cards, and this is what I gained. I didn't have to spend any stamina, I didn't have to farm anything. We found a bullet of order desire, which is the goblet, right? And not desire, ideal, right? We found an ideal, and we got it with crit rate main stat, and we also found a executioner's tool desire. So we then picked the right set with the right piece, and then you have a chance at getting the right stats. So it's like, you could say, dedicated farming. You play the game, you build your save data, and while you do that, you're getting gear pieces as well. Every time you finish an interior or an outerior, you're getting shown a selection. And then you click on the pieces, and you really do try to pay attention, because it's going to save you so much stamina, so much ether in the long run, by you just paying attention to these little details, because legendary gear is currently the highest rarity. These could be pieces that last you until they either introduce a new rarity, which they might never do, or legit until the end of time. So this is why you should really be careful, why you should be paying attention, and why from what I've seen, you even have the ability to re-buy these loot certification cards. So depending on how much time you have in a day, right? Let's be realistic here. Not everybody can run these chaos runs multiple times a day and stuff like that. But if you have the time, spending 60 stamina on a loot certification card might be more worth it than running a simulation run. But then again, time is time, right? But if you're playing a chaos run event anyway to farm for a character's gear, please do be on the lookout for these gear pieces, because they can just save you so much time. They can just be that damn good. So I think that's kind of what I wanted to tell you about, and you should be able to hit level 40. Keep in mind, you have until next Saturday, next Sunday even, from the time of you seeing this. And yeah, but again, most importantly, do try to have fun. And yeah, that's honestly the zero system. Let me just yap a bit about the zero system. This thing is fun. This thing is fun as hell. It costs you nothing. And if you ever felt like, oh, I wanted to play my gacha game, but I had nothing to do, you're never really gonna feel that here, unless you obviously play it so much that you burn yourself out. So, as always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you were able to take something away from this, and we see each other in the next one. Peace!